All right, guys, let's get started. In the today's session, right, we will be learning about logging module. Okay, so in the Splunk, we were able to see all the log information, right? The print statement information. But actually, when we use print statement in Python, it would not log you in the Splunk. Okay, so what we have to do is we should use a Python module called logging. All right. So let me create a basic um, package logging session. All right. All right. Logging session. Let me create a some test file. Example 01. All right. So when you want to work in logging, uh, so in Python there is a package called built-in package. Built-in package. Built-in package called logging. All right. So even in logging, so what is the purpose of logging? So logging is nothing but a printing actually. Okay. So logging the statements. For example, what is the purpose of it? Imagine there is an application running and we need to track of the print statements are not right. So imagine there is application running, right? And we want to know, let's say today it is okay. For example, application running for a week, we have released a new feature and majority of the users start consuming the feature. Let's say you created a calculator application, for example, and you made it live and many users start using your application. Let's say yours is like user friendly and very interesting application. So people are using your application, and sometimes your application might get into issues, or it is running smoothly. For example, it might be coming to issue, or it might be running an issue, running smoothly. For example, for both the scenarios, we need to track the user activity. Understood what's happening. Let's say how many users logged in. Let's say when user X is trying to access the application, maybe if we get an issue, for example. So what was the issue, right? And what is the error message? How to keep track of these things? So these all are very important, right, in the application. So for working on such kind of thing, so what we need is we need to have a package called logging. We need to properly log the print the messages in the separate file. Okay. So without that, what will happen? So if you don't have log, if you don't have a messages, right, you never know. You see after closing this laptop. Let's say once I close this, let's say print. I just printed this hello, right, and I just executed this program. I could see this program, but when I restart this application, what will happen? This message will gone because this will never be stored, correct? In order to do such kind of activity, right? So logging module provides a flexibility to log the information so that even you can it will be saved in a log file. It will create a log file. In that file, it will create a data. You got it? So let me quickly show you how to create a log file there. Yeah, makes sense. So let me create a fresh one. So say let me do this. I don't need this terminal here. Right. So logging model name is import logging. Got it? See, this is the library which will be used for logging the data. If I trigger this, I don't see any issue because this is existing package. If I do something else, then it will create a model file, model not found error because you should give the right model name. That is critically important. All right. I just imported this line, this one. Now, if you want to, uh, sorry, if you want to log the application data in a log file, right? So what we need to do is we need to see since we have used logging, right? Logging dot basic configuration. Did you see something here? basic configuration. We should use this. Okay. And we should configure, let's say, file name. File name equal to, for example, I want to create application log, right? For example, app.log. I want to create this log. Okay. And here, so what I need to do, I need to create this, and I should also set the level equal to, say, you can directly logging dot level name, for example, debug. No problem. So here, if you see what is the unresolved reference, you should create this one, maybe string. I think it should be a string. Make sense? Right. Guys, 1 second, I got a call. Let me switch to other window quickly. Where we are? We are into this one. That's okay. All right. Sorry. Yeah. So we need to configure this logging.basic configuration. So we should say, hey, for this application, for example, imagine this application. For this application, log file name is log.app.log. This is a file name, and level equal to debug. And don't worry, we will come to know these levels. There are so many levels are there. We need to understand that. So let's create this. If I just run this, if you see, what did you notice, guys, just now? There is a file called, there's a file created, right? Just now, app.log. App.log created with empty because there is nothing in it, right? There is nothing because I didn't run anything. Got it? Yeah. So when it comes to logging, so I created a log. So I created a dummy, dummy file and with nothing data, no data, because this application itself empty, and log is empty. Level also debug, but there is no debug log information. Now, before moving to level, before moving further, we need to understand log levels. Log levels. So first level is debug. Okay. So when it comes to debug, I think I'll take this data here I'll create a normal file. Um, data dot text file, for example. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll take it down here, log levels. The explanation I'll keep it here. Yeah. So debug, right? When it comes to debug, which basically, uh, you know, it gives it gives the application. In simply, what we can say is when I say debug, right? Um, when it gives the clear, I would say like clear, or it it gives um deep deeper. It gives deeper insights. It gives deeper insights about the functionality. It gives deeper insights about the functionality. I'll explain you one by one, don't worry. Next, information. It gives basic basic information. It gives basic information about the function, basic information. It gives basic information. Just like it gives basic information. Yeah. Next, warning. Warning. So in this level, it gives the potential, it warns about potential issues. It warns about potential issues in the application. Got it? Next, error. Warning and error both are almost equal equal sound in this application. Error error when application sees when application sees or when application crashed. When application crash, mm, this level be used. Okay. Next, critical. So critical is uh, something critical, functionality broke in the application. Application, then critical level be used. Okay. All right. So imagine, see debug. Actually, so I had to swap the debug and info. All right. So when it comes to information, right? See, inform is information. So it gives the basic information of the application. All right. And debug, it gives the deeper insights about the application or functionality. Next, warning, it warns about potential issues in the application. Okay, so for each and everything, let me give a basic, each and every example. Let me write a program to write a basic, basic example to accommodate these issues. Okay. Now, if I go back here, let's say, imagine I have written a basic functionality, a DEF. Let me write a basic, let's say, um, let me say, uh, for example, get even numbers, for example, let's say, I and it takes a list. The list is my list. Got it? And I feel this is a bit okay to use it for this example, you know, right? Now, see, when it comes to this, right? Here, logging. So I would use logging, logging dot info. Let's say in the information, as I mentioned, what it does? It gives the basic information about the application, right? Let's say get even number function started. Got it? And one more error information instead of this ended. Got it? Yeah. So for example, without writing anything, let me quickly call this function, and you will come to know. So if I just see here, I'm not doing any logic for time being. Currently, what I'm doing is I created one function definition, which is get even number function. But currently, I'm not handling anything. Just like so I had just log messages here. Both are information messages, right? And in this, I trigger this function. When I trigger this function, what happens? Started executing these statements. Here, these two are log statements, right? What happens? These two logs will be stored into app.log file. Got it? If I trigger this, now if you go and see, did you see? Data is stored. Again, if you go, trigger one more time, go and check. Did you understood what you're noticing? So now application data will be logged into a separate file. And even now, even if after this system restarted, still you can see these logs. How? Because we have stored this data into the permanent file, right? A file called app.log. In this file, we are storing all the application log information. So that, for example, let's say if application ran for example, let's say 10 days, this file would still contain 10 days information. Okay. And if someone complains that, hey Kumar, so I tried using your application and it is not, for example, let's say on 24th, I tried using your application, but it's not working, right? So, but here this is in the basic, right? In the basic, I don't have any timestamp recorded, for example. So let me also add that as well. So here, file name, this one log is debug, and also I would say um, I want to record timestamp as well, right? Let's say format equal to, I want to record, let's say time format, right? I can use ASCII time, ASCII time, ASCII time. Okay, once again. So here ASCII time. Um, it is, yeah, makes sense. This should be here, right? Let me test it because I don't remember the syntax, but it would still work. Okay, so ASC time here. Oh, okay, maybe syntax issue. ASC time. I think this should be okay, and this should be correct. What's the problem? Perfect. I just missed as here. That's okay. That's a format. Now, if I go back here, now it recorded the time. But see what I'm doing? I'm asking to hey, I need output in this style. Okay. But what I mentioned, I need output only for the output format will be time only. But what I also need a message as well, right? For message also, I should mention. So let's say what is the message at the time? What's the message? You should use percentage. Generally, we don't remember. We used to copy paste this message. Whatever message we mentioned there, we should have it. Whatever message. See what we are doing. Whenever we are calling this function, hey, print this. So currently, it is printed only the time. Actually, if you go and check it, it only printed the time, date and time, right? Now what I need to say, hey, format would be, you should print time, date and time, as well as the message that I'm passing. When I'm executing this message also should be, time, date, time plus message. Got it? When I trigger this, now if you see, go back and see, observed. Now it has time, it has date and time plus message. Got it? All right. And see, when it comes to Splunk logs, right? So support team, what they do is they will check, let's say they will check application with the error message, right? See, the log message should contain error, right? For level also we can print a level name. Say here, format after date, we can put one more dash and say percentile, and we should put the level name, right? Yeah, level name. If we put level name, now output, see, this is output format, guys. The output format would be date and time and level name that we are printing out and the message. Got it? Now, if you execute this, it will be more clear. Now, did you observe? Here, if you are seeing this log, right? This log will be pumped to Splunk application. You got it? When support team want to monitor your application, so what they'll be doing is, see, currently it is just information, right? Because in the application, I just mentioned, here I just mentioned information, and even when you mention debug, it would print everything. Okay, in general, right? So here, let's say if it is this is like this is a basic data. Now, you had a question that, hey Kumar, you were saying that data will be, sorry, here, yeah, information gives the basic information about the functionality, and what, like, I'm seeing all the information, right? But see, now if I go back here, now I got the even numbers. For example, let's say my list, right? Now, so what we need to do, we need to traverse to the list, understand, because to make it more clear. So for item in my list, okay, if item, if type of item double equal to integer, then no problem. Then just for example pass. If not, what it should be? It should be a warning, is it? Guys, you understood, huh? So start understanding, no? No, next, see, if the data is not an integer, then it's a warning, correct? Warning say that the value is not proper. Makes sense? Warning, say here value. For example, what is the value? Item, right? Item is the value here. Item is not a legal value. Only integer allowed. Got it? Now, yeah. Now, so how? Let's say now this time, what I'll be doing, I'll be passing this function. I'll be passing a list, 1 comma some text. Let's say India, right? Now, if I run let's say for example, this is the application, and user feeded number 1 as well as India string. Number 1 is fine; it's an integer number. What is number? What is other one? Other values? What? Other one is string, right? It's not a good value. It's a warning only, right? It's not a critical, correct? This is not something critical, right? Because if something goes bad, that's fine. Still, we can make it a, or we can log it. Say it's a warning. It's not a good value. If I execute this now, yeah. Now, if I go back to application, guys, did you see? You are seeing this information also now. Now, let me do one thing. Let me remove all the information. Save the file. Go back here, application. Run the application. Ran. If we go and open, now you can clearly see, right? See, information will give you the about. It will give you information about. Hey, this function is started. Hey, this function is ended. This is about information, right? And what is a warning? Warning talks about something is not good. Let's say it is expecting integer value, but it is like we are passing a string, right? String. That's where it's a warning. So warning should be fine, right? It's not that much critical to the application. We can still say, even we can from the support team, what you can do is you can search with the warning and find the other messages, and inform to the user saying that, hey, you are trying to, maybe they're doing they're giving this information, say, hey, you are based on the complaint, say that, hey, you cannot add integer, like, you cannot add an integer and or for this particular operation, integer and string is not permittable. Got it? You can go ahead and inform to the user. Make sense? Yeah. But what is the target? The target is that when you're writing out, you should neatly write what needs to be written. What is error? What is information? What is information related things? What is error things? Now, one more thing, debug. Debug is one of the very good option for developers. When something goes bad, we really need to understand what is the what is the actual value. For example, I want to check each and every I want to check each and every item of the integer, for example. Then what I'll do here, logging dot debug. So here inside this we will print logging dot debug. Debugging in the sense, it's a debugging actually. Debugging is very helpful for a developer to understand what really happened, what is the current state, debugging, right? So here, debugging, current current value is item. You got it? Guys, did you understood? So we are checking the internal see, top level, we are passing this information. Once it is comes to the application, see, starting and ending only I had information, and for warning I had here, and for insights about the application, like let's say if you when you go back here, debug, it gives the deeper insights about the application functionality. You got it? Deeper insight about the application functionality, even checking the inspecting the values, even inspecting uh, even inspecting the values or some functionalities. That's fine. Make sense? Yeah. Now, if I go and trigger this time, uh, if I go and execute this, what did you see? Debug, current value is 1. Got it? Now, currently, there is no much information. That's why you are not seeing anything. But if I go back here and put some data, 6, 7, for example, this time what will happen? For all, see, for all, right? If you want to do a sum, so what you can do, or getting even numbers, for example. So what basically you will be doing? You will be doing even list, even list equal to empty. If it is integer, then you'll be checking, um, you know, if item modulus 2, double equal to 0, then you'll be doing this, right? Even list dot append of item. Got it? Now, did you understood when to use, when to use what level? Gets clear, huh? So for warning, we are using this. All right. You are good, right? Right. So, but if you see, for example, since you're properly inspecting, you are safe. Imagine you don't have this inspection, right? You don't have inspection. This is always it executes and smoothly, and you don't have any issue. But if there is a issue, like for example, wantedly, let me write some error here. When let's say as soon as it comes here, log else logging the message. See, logging the message. For example, I'm logging. This is the values. I'm not happy. And here, after logging the warning, this not a problem actually. Let me take one more. Mm, for warning, this fine. Let me write some. See, let me see in this maybe not prepared, but what I'll do is zero. For example, item modulus 2 makes sense. Should be fine. Or I'll do one thing. Wantedly, let me write some error. Who cares, right? In this application, let's say else. I'll print warning, and immediately I want to raise a raising error. That's what I'm not okay in this particular case. For example, if there is application written something like this. Let me write text Python file. It is example 02. Let me show you another example where we can directly use the functionality. Let me also copy this too. Basically, logging, right? Logging we keep one file. We'll create a logging module and we will import it, guys. Generally, we don't do everything. Every module we will keep like this. No, we don't do it. Okay, makes sense. Now, what I'll do, I'll not do a inspect. Now, here this become right. Sorry, Control Z, and here current item is yeah, if modulus divisible by 2 equal to, if not divisible, warning. No, 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 no. Let's not do this. Say right here, if type of, not type, so let's say if item modulus 2 double equal to 0, right? Directly printing the message logging dot debug, right? Say current item is, say, item. Got it? Yeah, makes sense. Now this, like, who can tell me what will happen for first loop? We are passing a list of one India, right? So it will go here, no problem. For item in this one modulus 2 w equal to 0, fine. It does some operation and prints some data. And who can tell me what is next will happen? India. I'm passing India, right? What is the error type? India will be passed, right? No, what is the error name? Perfect. Type error. So when it comes to type error, when we are passing this, it will cry. Let's say India modulus to W equal to this. What the heck you are doing, man? Right? Then it tries a type error. Now it's not. When it tries a error, right? So what we need to happen? What we need to do? So we should have a exception handling, correct? Let's say try. This code should be inside this try block and say except, right? Exception as error, right? And here, whenever there is anything printed out inside the exception, this should be what? Error. Guys, yeah, makes sense? Error is, error is, say, error. Guys, make sense? Now, in this particular case, let me go ahead and, no, that's what, see, even what we can do is, in general, right, we will have one application log for the entire application. Let's say in the application, this many modules are there. Whatever the module working, whatever it is doing, we will use only one log file. We will dump it to Splunk. You got it? Yeah. And now, if I go ahead and trigger this, it just executed and stopped. And if I go and check the logs, did you see this? Error one is not a legal value. Hey, I think there is mistake in the program. Where? Uh, Warning, right? See, if my okay, that's fine. No, that's okay. So currently, warning, item is not a even number. That's fine, right? Still is not an even number. For example, that's fine. Now, if I trigger this, go and check the things. See? So our function started. Where it started? See? When you're looking at the, see, actually, as a developer, what we basically do is we will ask the, let's say, for example, from the support team, they mention that, hey, some XYZ user, they're trying to access the application, and the problem is that at this particular time he's unable to access. What is the time? No, we will get the time actually. So the time typically in UTC time or PST or whatever time zone it is, then what do we do? We will get into the application running in the CST time, right? Standard time. So we will just convert and go to the particular, in the Splunk, there is an option where you can traverse through the date range. You can specify what is the date, what is the start date, and what is the end date. If you go there, you can see this. But even since I directly access to the application, even if I get into the pod, right, get into the particular log location, I can directly go and see this when that person is started using this function. Okay, started using, and then warning, one is not even number, still fine. And error is there is some there is some issue with this. That's fine. There is some typo or something. And then warning, three is not even number, fine. But what is the issue? Error is error, right? Maybe let's fix that quickly. That would solve the problem. So here error is exception as, oh, here we are not raising a uh, did we, no, we are not raised, right? See, it would raise the type error, and type error should come here. Error is error. Oh, I should mention, sorry. Formatting, right? Formatting I missed. Right. All right, let me close. Let me remove this and execute this. Now we could clearly see. Now you are seeing information. Sorry. Yeah. Now you are seeing information. Uh, how come? I just swapped it. Yeah. Now you are seeing. That's okay. Yeah. Information log started. We have warning, and there is a error. Error is not all the argument converted during string formatting. Okay. And in this, see, there is a issue in properly handling the error. When there is error, we are printing out this. Error is error, right? Okay, okay. It is printing that message as well. Correct. Say put that item value, for example. It would help you. Item. I want to see proper data now. If I go back here, error. India, not India, for example. The value India, not all the arguments converted during string formatting. Yeah, make sense? All right. Mm, close. That's okay. Yep. Now, see these are see now you understood about information, debug, warning, and error, right? Basically, these all are the stages that we use actually for the logging. But how about the critical? So, what is critical, guys? When there is something serious about the application, serious about the application down. So when would be the case actually? Application down, right? Super, guys. That's the exact application, exact solution. So when application is not establishing connection with the database, let's say example 03, right? And here I'm not doing anything. So say I just want to give some message df db connection, for example, db connection. So for example, db connection find, let's say print db connection started and print db connection end, for example. Now, so let's say there is some logic to db connection, right? And so when you do this, for example, logic to db connection, and now let's say I will wantedly raise some exception. This should be in try block, for example. The first message should be, even when it comes to the message, right? That would be there always. Then try message, try block. DB connection logic. For example, let's say this should be inside try block. And what I'm going to do is, let me raise a error. Say raise critical, right? So connection error, for example. I would say connection error, right? Connection refused or connection error or whatever it is. Connection error, for example. Uh, so I'll say raise on some message saying that um, production DB not accessible. Production DB is not accessible. Okay, so this is a very critical. So when we see this connection related issues, right? Except exception as error, for example, right? Right, when exception as error. So say, what is it? Log dot critical. When you see critical, which means that your application supposed to be taken care quickly, some immediate action to be taken care. Critical, say application application down and not accessible to end users. Guys, understood when to use critical, right? Now if I start testing this, so application, this function does not take any inputs, and when I export this out, see, okay, I print no, this is supposed to be a log statement. Say logging dot info. Oh, sorry, DB connection end. Right. Yeah, just information, right? But actually, when we are doing this in this end message, right? So we will use finally block. So finally block anyway, it says what happened, right? So in the finally block, we will print that DB connection end. The DB connection function started, and the DB connection function ended. Yeah, makes sense. If I go ahead and trigger this out, now you could clearly see it is, see, guys, did you see this? So we were oh, sorry, I had to get into the log. Yeah, here. See, critical application down and not accessible to end users. Right? So why it triggered two times? I tried here, and it redaction DB is not accessible, and it came to critical block, it executed this. Yeah, makes sense. All right. So here, and one more important thing. So we need to understand when to use. See, if I quickly go back here, information when we started a function, and starting of the function and ending of the function, we will use this. Got it? So like I just did here. starting information, see, starting of the function and ending of the function. Just it will give you the high level of the high level information of the application. Whatever you want to try. Got it? And next one, debug. It gives you the deeper insights about the functionality, even inspecting the values. For example, when you are working on the real environment and you want to inspect each and every value, that time we will say logging.debug and do this. So let me also give quickly one more example, which would make sense to you. For example, let's say a calculation function. So df addition function. What addition function takes? It takes x and y, for example, right? So here, say, sorry, we should copy paste the logging logic, copy and paste it here, and say logging dot info, right? Say add function started, add function started, okay, and one more add function ended. All right. Now, so when you want to inspect, right? Currently, this information is fine. And say if you are doing result equal to, you want to perform x and y, right? If you want to perform x, right? X, if x and sorry, if type of x double equal to integer, and if type of y double equal to integer, if both are integer, then you need to inspect logging dot debug, right? You would just print, say, x is x and y is, say, y. You got it? If not, else, if it is not a integer, it's not something else, for example, then logging dot warning, right? It's a warning. Logging dot warning, say x or y or not a legal for addition logic. You got it? Guys, make sense, huh? Did you understood? So I used in one function, I used information, also used debug statement, also used warning. Did you understood when to use what? Make sense? And here, this should be inside, as mentioned, try block, and this information should be inside try block. If something happens with this, for example, so for some XYZ reason, except exception as error, for example. So let's say you should also log that error, right? Log error, say app error is, you should be saying error. Does it make sense, huh? Does it make sense to you now, at least? In one example, I covered, all the four. Got it? And in the same example, what I'll do is I'll try to store this information in the DB. For example, let's say after calculating, I want to print the information to the DB. Let's say if both are integer, you're printing it, and say result equal to uh, result equal to x plus y. Got it? And let's say store it into the database, right? For example, currently I'm not storing, but just a basic idea. Now, You'll come to know why I'm doing that. Let's say 34 and some text, John, for example. Now, what it should happen if I go and trigger this, right? I execute it, work. Now, if I go back here, did you see 34 or John, not a legal value for add logic because I clicked twice, guys. Okay, that's why. If I go back here now, if I change it to let's say 45 now this time. When I go and trigger this, go to check the logs. See, add function started. X and Y is 34, 34 and 45. That's fine. Add function ended. You got it? Even if you want to inspect data, you can also use here debug to print the results. Say logging dot debug. So debug would give you more insights of the application. It would give you the low level, low level value, low level information on what the functionality is doing. Got it? Say addition is, and sorry, what is that result? If I trigger this, happen. Now, if you go here, see, it is printed. Hey, team, 1 second. I'm getting a call from my manager. All right. So got it. Yeah. So in this by looking at the log itself, we were able to see the information, right? Did you see this? Yeah. When I go back here quickly, and now see when it comes to the application, right? If someone logs in with their username and password, right, in the application. So what basically, right, when there is a when there is a call to us, right, we will get the information. Okay. So information in the form of a dictionary. Let's say user info equal to, for example, username, and John Doe, and let's say his person ID, PRS ID, his person ID, for example, 567 employee ID, for example, some ID, no problem, and person ID, and also we will also get the email address. Email, say jodoi at gmail.com, for example. Guess makes sense? Now, what is the catch here? See, this we will get in the through the request when the front end is requesting this function call, passing some information from. See, this X and current I'm passing 34, 35, right? 34 and 45. This data would come from the front end. Okay, front end they'll put these two values and they'll make a click on the add, for example. So immediately what this also comes, this also this function also the request, right? The request also gets the user information. You got it? And here say comma one more user information. Make sense? Right. Now what I'm going to do, see if user information available. Now, each and every time, for every request, currently I just made a static information, which means that whatever information available, I just like for application every time we will have this user information only. Okay, and let's say imagine application taking let's say with static, with dynamic, I'll show you both. Okay. If I trigger this now, I'm not adding, right? So I want to add, let's say add function started, right? I also make sure, add up, the prefix, the user ID. User ID is like a person ID. Got it? Yeah. So here, what I would say, user information of the person ID, right? Let's say person, or you can directly use this. Since a dictionary, you can access person ID, right? So say user information. How we can access person ID of what's the key? PRS ID. Got it? So once I construct this, right, I can directly use, copy this wherever I am doing debug, whatever I am doing. I'll put that user ID here, every line, so that when so you'll understand like why I'm doing this. I think I mentioned every place, right? Yeah, makes sense. Now, why this is really important? For example, a user tried accessing your application now at 7:07, right? And he's saying that, hey, I'm trying to use your application, and your application, let's say, your application is not doing addition properly. But though since the data, he didn't reveal the data. Hey, I'm giving the correct data only, because that's how people will fight with that, right? Hey, I'm giving correct data only. Your application is not working. Then my question to him is, hey, can you tell me when you tried accessing your application? 7:07. Okay, I'll just open the application logs. 7:07. I'll check. See here. Now I can clearly see. I'll search with his number, his person ID, right? If I go back here, I'll ask, hey, what's your? Can you tell me your person ID? So this is a person ID. Take the person ID. Go to the Splunk, and I'll search with I'll search particular, cube. Also the information. If I search, so I can see his data, and he started using a function. Yeah, he used this function, but he has paused what? He has paused 34 or India, or not legal for. Then I'll inform them, hey, you are accessing the application. That's fine. I could see that you accessed the application at 7:47 seconds, but the problem is the input that you have fed it to the application, which is not a legal one, because India value is not a legal one for additional logic. Like legal characters are only integers allowed, for example. Guys, makes sense, huh? When you're working. Now, so this is just static, right? How you want to make it dynamic? So you will be making what? You will be making empty dictionary, right? And before making this call, we will take the data, user data from the imagine this is a request. Let's say name, input function, enter username. Next, person ID, PRS ID, for example. PRS ID equal to input, enter PRS ID. I think these two are enough, I don't want to make all the data, right? And once I have this, what I can do is um, user information of, currently I can directly see, instead of taking all the things, right? If user information is there, fully required. But currently we want to play with the uh, employee ID, for example. This is not required. Yeah, that's fine. User information also not required, because that information not proper for us, because with that name there might be a number of people in the company, but if we take a person ID, then it would be more relevant data. So instead of user information, I'll be passing person ID, and wherever, see here, person ID, replace the whole thing. within this brackets, say person ID. Copy this, replace wherever I have written this. I just guys make sense? Now if I go and trigger this, it should work. It takes the person ID like hey XYZ. I'm a person. Let's say 8373 for example. I'm done, and it does. If it is 8373, and here again problem, right? Because I'm passing the information here. We go back here again 8373. I'll search copy search 8373 again. Same issue with the user. You got it? Because 33. See, you should only look at information is fine. You should keen focus on the warning. What kind of warning it is raising, right? So this is really critically important, guys. Yeah, makes sense. All right, this is really important when you're working on the application, and when the data is fine. For example, let's say 34 and 78. If I trigger this now, go and check the data. This time till it is working. Oh, it is required a person ID. That's why it got stuck here. Let's say now the other user, which 2345. Did you see? The function call is fine, and you can see the information coming out here. Guys, make sense? Got confused or make sense? What is the? Mm-hmm. No, basically, bas basically, when it comes to the logs, right? So, to me, personally, I feel person ID is the proper data. And if I put complete information, right, data prediction also one of the important thing, right? So I should not send all the sensitive information about the user. User information get you everything about the user. Let's say user information, mail ID, even contact. It would expose. So we literally don't want to expose to the third-party application. Though Splunk is a enterprise one, but still we hesitate to share the information with the third-party applications. No, no, this is just for your yeah, this is for just practice. And in general, this data would come from the UI. So I would quickly show you. For example, let's say 1 second. Let me show you quickly. So for example, when user hits here, let's say user gets the login. So this is a real application. Okay, when user hits, user gets UI gets this information. If what did you notice here? In this, there is a kind. What is the kind? Identity toolkit verify password response and local ID. And if you see, this is the email address, isn't it? And display name, I didn't set anything, and it's a JWT token. And even this JWT token has so much information. If, for example, if I see this data, I'll take, okay, and if I just decode this, for example, if I use decode JWT token, it has some portion of it. It is categorized into three parts. If I go here, save. Did you see something? I just paste the token, and here it is showing like email address, isn't it? Email address, and it is like it is exposing the project ID, like so much information. So we don't want to expose this information. That's why we will not even I can. I can also restrict them in from the application side, but still, what basically we do it, we don't expose much information. So it's always best practice to follow adding only person ID. Person ID, they can't do anything with the person ID, right? Yeah. Does this make sense? All right. Next, for example, in this particular scenario, now I tried touching information, debug, warning, error, right? If there is a error, let me raise. Oh, okay. I didn't raise the error here. Okay, there is no error at all, right? If I want to get a exception as this is fine. Error critical. For example, let me raise a let's say here normal error is fine. Then except we can also make except connection error, for example. Then connection error become what? Critical, right? Logging dot critical, say application down, or say DB is not reachable. DB is not reachable. Immediate attention needed. You got it? Now what I'll be doing, I'll be wantedly making a exception here. Is so as soon as it trace, for example, I'll be passing correct data, and if I want to do a store into the database, so here what I'll do is I'll raise connection error. Say DB down, for example. Got it? So DB is DB down, right? Now, if I go and trigger this now, it is asking person ID. So I'm, let's say 76, 78, for example, and go and take the app log. If you go here, do you see this? You are seeing all the logs, right? So this is something called critical. So critical, DB is not reachable, immediate action needed. And who is the person? Who's the person? Person ID I missed. If I go back here, I should also add a critical. For critical also, I should put the person ID so that for who is trying to access, and let's say if some person trying to say, hey, I'm trying to access your application, let's say 720, for example, but let's say my person ID is 8989, and when I try accessing, it says application down, like I'm not seeing any website there, the website is not opening, for example. Then I'll say okay, oh, then I'll say 719, then I'll go to this person when he started using this 8989 XY, okay, data is fine. Fine. Okay, then I could see there a message. So in programmatically, I could see that during that time which user is trying to access, right? Application went down because of the DB connection issue, right? So that is the reason. So in one example, we have covered um, information, debug, critical, and also I want to add one more warning. Let's say 3478, right? Yeah. Mm, for this, I cannot produce any warning, but I'm already raising it here. That's okay. Mm, no, I don't see any proper use case for this here, right? If it is, let's say, if other than this, anyway, we are doing it. We are taking care, but this is not coming on the output screen. But everything are not necessary to get it, because what are the useful information which would be enough for the support team, or which would be enough for any engineering team to debug, when it comes to the application downtime, or when you want to troubleshoot something, when what went wrong, on which time. So which would be very, very helpful, guys. And so from today onwards, what you will be doing, so whatever the application you're writing, you should be writing application with a logging module. Okay, make sense? Even whatever the current application which you implemented, you have written so many functions, right, for doing all the operations. So start implementing, start implementing using this logging module. Make sense? And one more important thing. So in the real time, we will not import like this every time. We will not import this style. No, we don't do it. Instead, what we do is we will create, instead of doing this, let me quickly show you. This part, we will take it down. Okay. We will create one special module. Let's say logging, for example, or just say it can be any name. Logger, for example. Okay, logger. So here, what is the module name? Logger. Okay. So what I can say, see here, import logging as log. Got it? And instead of logging, I put just see log and logging log. That's it. Think I'm good, right? Next time, what I can do, I'll simply import logger from import from import from logger import log. If I just import this, my application will be easy. See here, from what is the model name, which has logger import log. You got it? And now logging, right, not required. You just use log in short. In the real time, we will have a log actually this style instead of making a big word there. So we keep like this. Yeah, makes sense. Now if I start going and executing this, see, taking person ID and say good, it went in. And if I go back here, the person ID which I entered is 6788. And since we raised wanted DB error, so yeah, the action is taken here. It got printed. We were seeing this information. So what we do is, see, in the real world environment, whatever the information we had, every 5 minutes, right? Every 5 minutes, or we will set the log, we will check the maximum, we will set the maximum, maximum file size. Let's say if the file size become 2 MB, for example. So what we do is, this information we will dump it to another file, and that information will be next pumped to Splunk log. Okay, and after 2 MB information, this file set to empty again, and this data will be pumped to Splunk log. That data will be stored there only. Guys, did you understood? All right. Sorry guys, my MacBook is speaking. It's weird. All right. Yes, did you understood how it is working? Any question on this?